How are you?
Hey, I'm well. How are you?
Good. Good to see your face.
You too. This was easy, right?
It was real easy. Yeah, that worked
Good.
flawlessly. Better than the Zoom meeting I was trying to set up for my family earlier.
Zoom doesn't work great for me because I don't have internet. This works
Yeah.
okay. Why don't you get us started and tell us who you are, where you are, and what you do?
I am Scott Vieth, and I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. And the reason I believe you asked me on here, other than what I really do as an architect, but along with my wife, do a house concert series here in our house. We've been doing it for actually 10 years. 4 days ago was our anniversary, 10-year anniversary. And we have done over 100 shows now, which is hard to believe. It's kind of taken on a life of its own. We're kind of just hanging on for dear life right now, but we've really enjoyed doing it and really built it up to be something pretty special, I think. At least that's what I'm told. So we just love it. We love, growing up as a music nerd and just fan of all these artists. It's amazing to me now to just kind of have this kind of access to my favorite artists, have them in my house, have them stay at our house. It's a pretty amazing thing. It's been pretty great.
Yeah, I was supposed to come to my first Club 603
Yeah,
show a couple weeks ago,
I
and that
know.
didn't happen. So I'll look forward to when I can do that.
Me
You've been
too.
to some Cable House Presents shows.
I have,
Um,
and I love them. They're so great. And it's only, it's about an hour away for us. It's not bad. But I love the space in there. I love the artists that you have. We obviously have many of the same artists that you have, which is great to see. And you get a good crowd there. And I really appreciate what you do there. It's pretty fantastic. And I guess we're doing it just a similar thing, but in a much smaller scale in a way.
I think so. And I think the spirit of what we do, in addition to having similar taste in what we book, I think the spirit of what we do is very similar. And I find that I find myself feeling a little more aligned with house concert venues than with traditional
Hmm.
venues,
Yeah.
since we're a pop-up space. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I think there's a certain warmth to it and a certain, spirit of feeling a void that might have been there in the music scene in York, or as far as the venues go. I can't speak to that, but you can. We kind of stumbled onto that. We didn't realize that there was a void here. I mean, we certainly have a lot of great music venues here in Baltimore, but what we didn't know was there really wasn't a listening room venue, and that's kind of the void that we have filled, which has been great. We just kind of stumbled on that. Um, we kind of got into it quite by accident, but we did at some point decide to really make it purposeful. And we have kind of stated that our purpose is we want to bring music that we love to Baltimore and expose Baltimore to that music. And we want to put Baltimore on the map as a place where musicians want to come and play, because we often get overlooked for DC, because it's so close by, understandably. And then the third thing we're trying to do is really connect artists to income, which, is also very important. So that's kind of what's driving what we're doing right now. And then the fourth thing is obviously to have fun, but probably the most important thing.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that from our perspective too. Why don't we talk about that a little bit about what you're seeing now with
I forgot
all
to do my
these.
product. I forgot to do my product placement. This is us Club 603. It's all about the product placement.
Very nice. I've seen your hats pop up on photos of artists playing all over the place
Yeah,
now,
how
right?
crazy is that? That is, I
Yeah.
didn't expect that, but that's pretty cool. We have one hat left.
Ah,
Have to order
there
some
you go.
more.
You heard it here first, everybody.
Yeah.
We did t-shirts a couple years ago for we did an Indiegogo campaign,
I remember
part of
that.
our
Yeah.
fundraising campaign, and so we had photos of one of our season ticket holders wearing it in Hawaii. I saw that Matt Boyd is on this on
Yeah.
the chat here. He
Oh, hi,
he
Matt.
showed up one day in Newport at Newport Folk Fest wearing his. It's really exciting to see them out in the wild.
It is. I got all kinds of texts and emails this summer. That music festival that happens up at Mass Mocha that I think Wilco puts on.
Yeah,
People found each other with our hats and shirts on that didn't know each other, and they were sending messages. And then, Steve Wynn, Steve Wynn of the Dream Syndicate, he sends
yeah,
me
yeah.
he sent me an email and said, "Hey, I just wanted you to know that you're well represented up here." I'm like, "What? That's crazy!" So yeah, that's always fun to see. It was actually my son's idea to brand us, to do the logo and do the T-shirts, which has turned out to be brilliant. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, music is such a great way to build community. That's where I find community.
Yep,
And
exactly.
it's pretty cool to help people connect the dots by seeing a visual representation like that of places they have in common.
Yeah, it's like being in the club, right? Like, hey, man, I'm part of this. This is pretty cool. You should know about it. I love that. I mean, that's and you hit the nail on the head about community. That's what this is all about, right? It's like, yeah, Gene and I do kind of run this thing, but it's really all of us that do it together. And when I say all of us, I mean all the artists and all the people that come and support the shows. It belongs to all of us. You know, it's a community-based thing, even though it happens to be in our house. It's just, it's really cool to see that.
Yeah. Let's talk about live streams and things you've been watching and things that you've seen about how artists are giving us opportunities to support them through this weirdness right now.
Yeah. Wait, before I do that, though, I wanted to show you. So last night, my son gave me a haircut, and you can't see it now, but this
Look
is
at you.
My one chance to. I asked for the Tony Hawk, and I got a mohawk. So that's the way it goes.
Very punk rock. I think it suits.
But yeah, I don't know. Somebody said it was very UFC. That's not quite what I was going for, but yeah. So the live stream thing has been great and also a little frustrating because there's so many of them. I can't actually get to them all. I did see Caleb Caudle's album release. Do you know Caleb at all?
I don't know him, but we have a lot of friends in common.
Yeah, I'm sure. And he did an excellent album release. He did one last night again, which I missed, and he said he gave us a shout out. So I was like, darn, because he was actually supposed to be playing at our house last night. Which is kind of sad. So I saw his. I'm trying to think what else. I saw our friends with Wussy. They're a great band out of Cincinnati. They did just the two of them out of the band did one the other night that was really fun, and I counted about 20 people from our regulars that were on that one. So that was pretty fun to see. Jesse Mallon's doing an excellent one out of his apartment in New York City. He's hilariously funny, has great stories. So those are always great. I think he does them every Saturday afternoon. I've seen one of those. I saw Lily Hyatt's album release from Nashville outside of Grimey's, which is great. Joey Kniezer from Glossary, I caught that one. David Bazan, I've caught a couple of. Oh, there you go. I haven't got mine yet. It hasn't come in the mail. That is such a great album cover, isn't it?
Should get that album. Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's a fantastic album. I love that album.
The vinyl itself is really gorgeous.
Oh, nice.
No,
I don't know where mine is. That hasn't come yet. Anyway.
I ordered mine from Grimey's after all this weirdness started, and it just arrived this past week.
Awesome. Vanessa Peters, who's an artist out of Dallas, she's actually currently sequestered in Italy. She's been doing a bunch, which have been great. I mentioned David Bazan from Pedro the Lion's been doing him. The one thing I think that's interesting for me about David's is he's been doing during the weekdays, which for me has been easier because I can pull them up while I'm working at my dining room table during the day. I've had trouble getting to some of the ones in the evenings just because it's kind of been when we've been doing family time, watching movies or things together. So I've missed some of the evenings. So it's different for everybody, right? But the daytime ones have actually worked out a little bit better for me. But yeah, and then I do want to mention my friend Jason Narducci. Do you know him? He's his band is Split Single.
Actually, he also because of you posting about him.
Okay, he also plays bass in Superchunk, and he plays bass in Bob Mould's band. He had another band back in the day called Verbo before that, and then when he was a young teenager or even preteen, he was in a band called Verboten, and which is great. It was a three-piece punk band along with a woman who is Dave Grohl's cousin. And Dave Grohl saw that as a kid and claims that that's what inspired him to start making music, which is in his Sonic Highway series. Anyway, so Jason's doing an interesting thing, and it really goes to his talents, which he's a very funny guy, but he's been doing these videos where he just posted videos, asking for support, but they're skits with his family about how he's coping with current times, and then he also plays music in them interspersed. So those are definitely worth checking out. They're very well done, very funny. So yeah, it's interesting to see how everyone does them. There's all different models. I don't know what's best. I think I do like the ones that have some personal connection where maybe they ask for a request. I'm not a big request guy, but I like that model. Or whether there's storytelling in it, or maybe stories behind the songs. I think that's all valuable rather than just a straight concert, just doing something a little bit different. But it's an interesting time to be inventive and see how you can capture people's attention and keep it. And I really feel for all these guys. I'm trying to support as many as I can and post as many as I can, but I know it's tough out there. I feel for these guys. I really do. I've been trying to check in on as many as I can, and I just know it's hard. It's heartbreaking to see. You know, a lot of them have zero source of income right now.
Yeah.
So anybody's listening out there, go buy some albums, buy some merch, support your artists. Even if you have it all, buy more, send it to your friends, whatever. Just go buy something.
That's a really great idea. To that end, what are you listening to that's not live streams? Are you a vinyl guy?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I've been, you know, I got down this weird rabbit hole because I actually read Bruce Springsteen's autobiography. I'm not the biggest Springsteen fan, but I did love the book and the story. So I started going through his whole catalog again, revisiting, but that's separate. But I brought my visual, since I'm a visual guy. So here's
Good.
Caleb Cottle's new album is awesome. I've been listening to John Moreland's new album, which is also fantastic. Shout out to Matt Pence who recorded it, and it sounds fantastic. The stuff.
Have you hosted John at your place?
Yes, I have a couple times. Been awesome. Yeah, he's amazing. I'm obsessed with his Torres album. This is fantastic. I just can't get enough of this. I've been listening to this for a while. Jesse Malin's Sunset Kids, of course, is great. You mentioned Lily Hyde. I don't have that to show yet. Arboretum is one of my favorite bands. They're actually a Baltimore band. This is a fantastic new album that just came out. That's kind of what I picked up off the top of my list, you know, the new Masterson's album. I don't know if you've heard that. That's really good as well.
I've been hearing a lot about it, but I haven't heard it yet.
It's really good. And we were trying to work on a show with them here in the fall. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know what the future holds. I'm sure you don't either, but
yeah, the not knowing is the hard part, I think.
Yeah, it really is. And you know, I was talking with Jason, who I mentioned the other day, and we were like, I don't see how live shows go forward without the vaccine. I don't know how you can ensure safety, sadly, but I don't know unless you can test everybody that comes into a venue and to show that they're negative. And I don't know. I wish I had a better solution or a better thought on it, but I don't know how this is going to happen.
Yeah, especially because we're supposed to get a second wave of it once everybody starts going back out again. We've rescheduled some shows. The soonest one will be mid-August.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's soon enough.
I don't either. That's probably our time frame right now too, but who knows?
Yeah, and then
I mean, at least the one good thing about rescheduling is you're still in contact and you can keep rescheduling. I know that's not helpful for them as far as income goes, but you know, we lost a lot of good shows. We had a whole slew coming up that we had to, you know, postpone or reschedule. You know, big ones with Jesse Malin, who I mentioned, Alejandro Escovedo. Wussy was supposed to be here. I mentioned Caleb Cottle was here last night. We had this super exciting spring and kind of frantic, crazy spring planned. And man, it went from having shows almost every weekend to me painting my house on the weekend.
Yeah. I was really looking forward to that Casey Anderson and Erica.
Yeah, that one too. Yep. Me
She's
too.
Wonderful, and he may not tour anymore ever after this. So
yeah, and that's that one struck me too because I don't know. He talked about maybe trying to come back in the fall, but yeah, I thought he was done. So you know, because of that, that was a unique situation, knowing that one we probably couldn't reschedule just because of what you just mentioned. So I asked everybody. That was the first one that we actually canceled. If they would like to have a refund or donate the money to the artists. And I would say 85% of our group asked to donate the money to the artists. So we were able to forward the money anyway, which was just a huge credit to the music community here that they were generous enough to do that. And I know it meant the world to those guys, both financially and just the gesture of it. I was very touched that everyone responded that way. And that was really cool to see. So again, the power of community, right?
Yes, absolutely. I see behind you a poster for a mutual friend of ours. I actually just pulled this out too.
He's not my friend. I don't like that guy.
How could anyone not like that guy?
Pete, we love Pete, man. What a great dude that is. Yeah, and that's a great album. And actually, a little story behind that. There's a song on that album that he wrote in this house.
Get out.
Hold Your Own, I believe is the name of it. He told me after Held My Own, sorry, isn't that what it is?
I don't know. Hold on.
Doesn't matter. So he told me after the fact that was written here.
It's on this one.
Oh, it's on that one?
Yeah.
Sorry. Which is really cool. You know, it's cool. It's interesting to hear the stuff that happens here that you don't even know about. And for Christmas, I got him to do the handwritten lyrics to that song. So we have it in our house. I gave it to my wife. which is really sweet of him to do. But yeah, that was really cool. And actually Caleb Caudle told me that he wrote a song here years ago that was on one of his last albums. And I said, wow, that's really cool. What is it? He said, Wasted Thursday. I'm like, great. Thanks.
Perfect.
And Ryan Walsh, who's in this, actually our very last show before we shut down, Hallelujah the Hills. They're from Boston. They're fantastic. Definitely check them out if you haven't heard them. So Ryan wrote this great book that did really well. Came out like maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I've lost track already. It was about Van Morrison's time in Boston before he recorded Astral Weeks. It started out as a magazine article, and someone asked him to expand it to a book. So he wrote everything. I think it was 1967 or 8 when that happened, when he was there. All these incredible stories that happened in Boston that are all kind of tied together. Anyway, the book did really well. He told me that he wrote part of a chapter in our house here too. So that was pretty cool to hear that. So yeah, who knows what else has happened.
Interconnected with all those other things.
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool. I bought those two. I didn't have those two JPKS albums on vinyl. So when Bandcamp did the day where they waived all the fees, I bought those two. And
good for you. They're good ones.
Yeah, because normally I listen to music in my car, so I still have a lot of CDs. It's a very old car with a CD player still.
I have a lot of CDs too. Yeah.
So, it's been nice to beef up my vinyl collection a little bit. Not that, the records are going to overtake the house soon. I didn't really need to beef it up, I guess.
So I know we also have Aaron Lee Tasman right here. I know is a friend of yours and you've already interviewed, and he's right
I adore him.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Who else is up there? Will Johnson?
So with this Will Johnson one up, can I do this? Whoa, right there. That was our very first show. That was 10 years ago. Van Devere, I don't know if you know them. They seem to not be a thing now, although Mark just had a live stream. I forgot to mention him. Mark Charles Heidegger had a live stream. And this one's Wussy that I just mentioned. Yeah, they've kind of taken over. This is when Moreland was here with Aaron and Caleb Caudle. All three of them came together, which is
what a bill.
Yeah, that was fun. Although, I'll say this, and if those guys are listening, sorry about this, but they did this round robin thing where they each played a song. Interesting concept. I didn't think that worked so well because they're all so different that it was hard to go back to back to back, to go from a serious song to a lighthearted. I don't know.
There's a
I love having
like a hotel song swap or something.
Yeah,
I forget what they call it. Like if you're sitting around, the hotel at night, passing the guitar around.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. I would rather have heard each of them do a set, but again, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, but a place like yours is a place that is open-minded enough for experimentation like that.
Oh, of course, and so, I'm sure, like any group of opinions in a room, probably half of our crowd liked it way better than the other setup. So. I always find that's funny when you have like maybe two musicians on a given night and you hear from different people like, man, I really like that first guy the best. And then the other half will say, man, I really like that second guy the best. It's like, well, that's the beauty of art, right? Everyone has an opinion and that's cool.
We all like different things.
Yeah.
I'm in a guest room here and we did a season where we had a different York area artist, fine artists and graphic designers for every show, design and poster. And then our sound guys have a screen printing shop at their studio where they screen printed all of these. So I've got Miss Tess and the Talkbacks here, Smith and Whedon, Vinegar Creek Constituency, Christian Lopez. Really
That's awesome.
Great guy.
I need that hookup. I need that hookup with this artist. I do have a friend who's a sign maker that made our Club 603 sign, so that was a good hookup. But
that's very cool.
Always looking for the hookups.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too. The music community isn't limited to the musicians, as you said.
Nope.
It's the promoters, it's the audience, it's all the people that do these things that we're all kind of in it together.
Yeah, we have a beer sponsor and we have a whiskey sponsor. Beer sponsor is Union Craft Brewery here in Baltimore, and the whiskey sponsor is Sagamore. So that's very helpful. We don't lose as much money on every show as we used to. So I appreciate those guys doing it, and they do it because they're music fans. So it's really great.
Maybe we could talk about that for a second. Talk shop. People are always really surprised when I tell them that Cable House can't ever make money. We lose about $1,000 a show.
Yeah.
We rely really heavily on fundraising because of it. People just don't necessarily understand the economics of it.
Yeah.
They tell you like, book my favorite band. Why don't you book Springsteen?
Why don't you?
It doesn't really work. The numbers have to work out.
I never thought of that.
Yeah. Even our best attended show ever was with Cedric Burnside. It was sold out. I only lost like $750 on that show.
Wow. So you make up that difference with the fundraising that you do? Is that how you do it? Yeah.
Yeah, and we do season ticket sales so that
Right.
we have a little bit of capital up front,
Right.
but it'll never break us even.
Yeah.
We do have a beer vendor, but we don't take a cut of that. It's just kind of how we started out, and we've rolled with it. But they supply beer for the bands, and our food vendor supplies foods for the dinner for the bands. So, you know, our expenses are pretty low.
That's good. That's nice that you have at least that help. You know, we've had a local restaurant here, Little Havana, has catered a couple of shows just by chance. You know, they wanted to help, which was really fun. And that helps. But yeah, we are obviously a different scale than you, but I think we started out losing about $200 per show to do it. And I think we've got that down to about 100 maybe now. It depends on the night. And that's fine with me, man. I'd gladly pay $100 for these nights because, you know, we get some amazing stuff out of it. You know, like I said, growing up as a music nerd fan, I would never believe that I would get to do all this kind of stuff. So I'd gladly pay that, you know, to help support everything and to just have fun, you know.
Sure.
Happy to do it.
I got a guest book for my house, probably even before Cable House started, because I lost track of who all was staying here. And I never remember to have people sign it. I'm really bad at that. But looking back through it is really just a lovely trip down memory lane of people who have sat around my kitchen table. And yeah.
We started having people sign the back of our whiskey cabinet door a couple of years ago. So it's only 2 years old. But it's starting to fill up. I'm not sure what to do, what the next plan is. But yeah, I'm with you. I kind of wish I had kept a journal about every show, just some thoughts or memories, because they do start to blur and you don't remember certain things. And I don't have the best memory, and journaling is obviously the best way to remember things. But yeah, I wish maybe I could still start that. But it would have been nice to have those recollections, just quickly jot down some thoughts the next day.
I wish I would have done that too. We've only done about 60 shows, so you've done
That's
quite a lot more than us.
Not that many more. That's 60 is a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me, we already know what you would be doing if this weren't going on, what you would have been doing last night in particular. What are you looking forward to the most when this is all behind us and we can gather together again?
Oh man, the people, definitely the people. Just to, you know, to be able to have a shared experience. I mean, that's the one thing that's missing from the live stream. And, you know, I had a friend who reached out to me and said, hey, I have this idea about doing this virtual 3D show, you know, virtual reality. I think it could be the future of music. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. Because, you know, the part that's so important is just being fully immersed in the event, you know, to have that music wash around you and over you, and have people you know around you, friends or strangers that you share that experience with, and just make eye contact. You know, that's the stuff that I miss, and just being able to have physical contact with people. Yeah, I mean, when you go from having, you know, people in and out of your house all the time, both artists and fans, to not having any of that, it's like, it's kind of daunting. Now, I'm very fortunate to have a family here that I get to spend time with during this time, and have a nice house that I can hang out in and have some outdoor space to go for a walk. But I certainly miss the people. Yeah. And that kind of communal sharing. It's, you know, that goes back to what you said about community, to have that community of people that just get so excited about the shows, whether it's here or we see them out at another venue in Baltimore, and to share that together, and like, wasn't that great, man? Or, you know, you should have seen this show, or you need to come to this show. You know, I'm getting some of that by social media. You know, a lot of our regulars and friends, you know, that group kind of blurs and overlaps a lot. Just we send each other stuff, or have you seen this, or you should check out this live stream. It's interesting to see everyone still kind of craving that community contact that happens here, but doing it virtually now. You know, that's pretty cool. I enjoy that. Thank God for social media. I'm a big fan of it. I know some people hate it, but it's been awesome during this time.
Oh yeah, I don't know what we'd do without it during this time. I feel really fortunate if this had to happen that it happened now when we have all these ways to connect.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so let's wrap up with how we can either best support Club 603 or the things that you care about right now, how they can find more information about you, that kind of thing.
Well, for us, I mean, we don't need any support. The artists need the support. But you can find, we have a website. I don't know if anybody ever goes to this website, but it's www.club603.com. We have a Facebook page. We have Twitter. I'm on Instagram at Vieth Shots, but that's kind of an overlap just between my personal page. I never made a 603 Instagram page. Maybe I should, but it's just one more thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you can find us, and you can find out about our shows there. But yeah, I mean, like I said before, the best way to support what we're doing is to support the artists. So just go out, watch their live streams, throw them some money, buy some of their stuff. If you have it all, buy it for somebody else who you want to turn on to it. Just do anything you can to help get money in their hands, because a lot of us are very privileged to still be working and to have a place to live and hang and have health insurance. A lot of those guys have none of that right now. And I feel for them, and they need our help.
I agree. That's all good advice. Is there anything else you want people to know before we sign off?
And one more recommendation. If you haven't been following Dave Grohl's stories on Instagram, those are fantastic. He's a great storyteller. Funny, I don't know if you've read any of those, but he's just been posting like one story every week, and they're hilarious. He's a hilarious writer. I'm not the biggest Foo Fighters fan, but I'm a fan of him. He seems like a pretty cool dude, and they're pretty funny. Trying to think what else I can tell you. I saw, did you see Craig Finn on CBS Saturday Morning yesterday? I don't know if you saw that, but
no. It
was really well done. He did 2 songs. You could probably find him on the internet. But man, when I watched that really made me miss this whole thing even more, because it was, we've been lucky enough to have him play here twice. He's a great guy. And he had his bandmate Will playing piano, who's been here, and it was fun to hang out with those guys. But yeah, that kind of drove it home even more yesterday. I just really missed it. I don't know why that moment hit me, but it just did. I don't know.
I had a moment like that last night too. I was watching the Music Cares benefit telethon.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I watched it. There were so many friends and Cable House past performers that played it, so I watched the whole thing. It was a really nice evening. And then at the very end, they showed a recorded from a show that happened I don't know when, of Shovels and Rope playing Hail Hail Rock and Roll, and I just lost it. I was supposed to see them last week and whatever, but the thing of seeing people in a bigger venue all together like that and not knowing when we'll be able to do that again safely just really hit me hard.
Yeah, we had our last show kind of the night everything shut down, and it was interesting because this was Hallelujah the Hills. They were traveling all the way from Boston with another band, Boston Cream, who's half of that band is in the other band. But anyway, they got to the DC show the night before us, and that was the night that all of a sudden all the clubs shut down. And we went down to see them down there, and there were about 9 of us. And
wow.
So that was striking. And then we really wondered, like, are we doing the right thing? Should we cancel this? And we kind of erred in favor of getting the band paid, so we decided to do it. And if people wanted to show up, they could. And we had 25 out of the 50 tickets sold, probably show up. But man, that was the other end of this, I would say, is that was a real moment where you could really feel this whole thing, where the band knew it was their last show for a while. So, they kind of gave it their all. All of us in the crowd knew it was the last time we were going to see each other for a while, or see anybody for a while. Yeah. And it made for a fantastic night and an emotional night. And it ended up with the band getting back together at 1 a.m. and doing a jam session in the living room, which was, I think nobody just wanted it to end. But yeah, that was the moment on the other end that hit me like, wow, this is the beginning. Now, we didn't know what was going to happen, but you knew something was happening. And
right.
I suspect there's going to be a lot of those little moments going forward that this whole thing is going to hit you about the music part of it, that, wow, man, I really miss that, or I really miss seeing everybody,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cheers to the time we can get back together.
I agree.
Hopefully before too long.
Yep. JJ,
For
thank you
anybody
for
who,
doing what you're doing here. This is really fantastic. I mean, I've been kind of racking my brain about what I can do. This is really great what you're doing and supporting artists, and I really appreciate you doing this for everybody. I'm looking forward to seeing Chad on, and he's on in an hour or so from now, or
yeah. So Morgan Eve Swing is next at 1 o'clock. I had talked to Morgan Eve a couple weeks ago, but the video, when we were downloading it, something happened. So she's going to do another go round. And then at 2 o'clock is Chad. Yeah.
yeah.
I've only met Chad in person once, but I'm really excited to.
I've never met him in person, but it's going to happen someday. We're going to have a hang.
Yeah, I feel like your paths are bound to cross.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. But I really do appreciate you doing this. It's a fantastic idea, and I hope it's helping. I'm sure it is. And you're gonna have, is this gonna be available later? It's recorded, right? So
yeah, they'll be available on the Cable House Presents YouTube channel, and we'll post them one at a time on the Facebook page as well.
great, because my dad wants to see my haircut.
Oh, good. Turn to the side one more time. Show us again. Hey, look at that. That's amazing. Well, thank you for taking the time, Scott. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Stay safe.
You too.
Bye.
Take care.